Guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have some single serving desserts, but the exciting part is you can make all of them in your microwave and all you need is a coffee mug. All right, if you're new here, hi, I'm Claire. Welcome, come on in, make yourselves comfortable. If you're cooking for one, if you're just like a person who likes a little treat at the end of the day and you don't want to make like a whole cake or a whole pan of brownies, you just want something quick, not using a lot of dishes, not using a lot of energy, this video is for you. Personally, I love a mug cake. My mom used to make them when I was young, when we would be like searching the house for something sweet. She'd be like, I can whip this up in a mug. So I thought I would share some variations that I've discovered over the years that you might also like. It's also worth noting that you can treat these recipes like a blueprint. You can swap the ingredients out for dairy-free versions. You can do sugar-free versions or lower sugar versions if that's something that you're trying to watch. I really want you to get creative what you put on top. How you enjoy these, maybe with coffee. There are lots of ways, so you don't have to follow every single one of my instructions exactly. You can modify it to suit your own taste. Today we are doing a brownie, a peanut butter cake, an oatmeal crumble, and also a classic Funfetti cake. Every single one takes 90 seconds or less in the microwave, so let's get started.
All right, we are starting off strong with this delicious fudgy little brownie. And this might be cheating, but we're using brownie mix because sometimes you just don't want to work that hard for a singular brownie, okay? And really all you need to remember here, the ratio is 2 to 1. 2 tablespoons of brownie mix and 1 tablespoon of milk. So if you want a bigger brownie than this is quite a small brownie. If you want a bigger one, double it. It's fine. This is a very, very simple recipe. That's literally it. That's all that's in there. Well, I did throw a little bit of chocolate chips in there, but you could do like a peanut butter swirl or maybe some Nutella or something like that. You don't even have to add the chocolate chips. I just had them, so I thought I would. Mix it up in your mug and toss it in the microwave. Now, this only took 60 seconds, but if you were going to double this recipe, you'd want probably 90 seconds. And yeah, you are just 1 minute away from delicious, fudgy goodness. And I'm sure you could make a brownie from scratch this way, but why would you when it's this easy? And this was so satisfying and perfect. And I'm not going to lie, I've made this recipe a lot of times. All right, moving on to our Funfetti cake, which is actually just red, white, and blue because those are the only type of sprinkles that I had. We're starting off with melting some butter. This is 2 tablespoons of butter. And while that's melting, I'm going to do my dry ingredients. We have 1/4 cup of flour plus 1.5 teaspoons of flour. To that, we've got 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 2 tablespoons of sugar, as well as just a dash of salt. So I didn't really measure that. I just, threw some in there. But obviously, these are really, accessible ingredients if you wanted to go the from scratch route instead of a box cake mix route. Here you go. So I'm just going to like stir that up. And now I'm going to add my wet ingredients. So we've got 3 tablespoons of milk. Also, this recipe is a lot larger than the brownie recipe. So, keep that in mind. This makes a hefty serving of cake. We've also got a little bit of vanilla extract in there. We have 1/2 teaspoon. And then we're also going to throw in that butter that we melted earlier. And there is our batter. And I don't know why all I had was like patriotic red, white, and blue sprinkles. I think I probably had some Christmas ones up there too, but I was like, whatever. Sprinkles make everything cuter and more fun. And do they taste like anything? I don't know. But it did make my cake look super cute. And I put a bunch in there. I probably put at least a teaspoon, probably 2 teaspoons in there. I wanted it to be real sprinkly. And now this was a little bit bigger than the last one. So I did have to do this for 90 seconds. And I also let it sit in the microwave for like a minute afterward. And it was perfectly cooked, you guys. Like springy and perfect. Okay. And obviously one might want a bit of frosting on top, but I could not be bothered with that. I wanted to just eat the cake. So I did. And it was so perfectly cooked. It was moist. I would say it's missing that sort of like crisp crust sort of texture that you get. So if you're a person who loves that part of the cake, you're not going to get that in the microwave. But this was so super moist, super good. All right, next we've got our oatmeal crumble. This is not a cake, guys. And I thought it would be like a cookie, but it really wasn't. But still very good. I'm starting out with butter. I've melted 2 tablespoons of butter. To this, I'm going to add some brown sugar. We have 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And I'm just going to mix that up till it sort of like dissolves into like a little paste situation. And to that, I'm going to add some oats. We're going to do 4 tablespoons of oats. And now we're going to throw in a little bit of flour. We've got 2 tablespoons of flour. I also think you could have added like chia seeds or vanilla or something like that, but I was trying to keep it really simple with the amount of ingredients here. So the only other thing I'm going to add here is some cinnamon. We've got 1/4 teaspoon. And then I'm also going to throw in just again a dash of salt, a pinch of salt, a few shakes. And I'm also going to throw in like a hefty tablespoon of chocolate chips. You could use raisins here, but you will never find me putting an oatmeal raisin anything in my life. Okay. Why would anyone choose raisins when you could choose chocolate? I know plenty of people that do. I just personally, I don't understand it. Anyway, I'm mixing it all up till it's like kind of pasty. And now I'm popping it in my microwave and I put it in there for 90 seconds. And it was so hot when it came out. Like it really had to cool down. It was less like bready like our cakes earlier. So keep that in mind. Do not burn yourself. And honestly, you guys, this was so good. And yes, crumbly, not cakey. But as I was eating it, I was thinking this is actually like dessert granola. This should go on top of ice cream. It kind of blew my mind that it was so good. All right, next, we're doing peanut butter cake. And I will say right now, this is my favorite recipe that I made this entire time. Again, we're using a cake mix, but guys, watch how clever this is. So you can easily use a cake mix to make a mug cake, but I swapped out one of the tablespoons here. So we're doing 5 tablespoons of yellow cake mix. You could use any type of cake mix. And honestly, after my son tried this cake, he was like, why didn't you use a chocolate cake mix with peanut butter? That would have been way better. And yes, it would have been good. However, I really wanted to make a very peanut buttery cake without the conflicting flavor of the chocolate. But if you would rather have a chocolate peanut butter cake, you can totally do that. Here's the key ingredient. We're using powdered peanut butter. I know sometimes this looks like a weird diet food, but powdered peanut butter is really versatile and the texture makes it so good to bake with. So I'm doing 1 tablespoon of the PB Fit powder. And then I'm going to go in with my milk. You technically, I think, could use water. Um, but, I do prefer the milk. And then I'm doing a teaspoon of oil. I do think that the oil really helped the texture here. It really did make it just slightly more rich. Mixing that up till a nice batter. And because this is like, again, a larger cake, we are going to put it in the microwave for about 90 seconds. And also I'm going to let it sit for some cool down time in the microwave as well for about a minute. Guys, the texture of this cake blew my mind. It was so flippin' good. And I smelled it and it was so peanut buttery. And I was like, girl, I'm about to put some peanut butter right on the top of this cake. And so instead of frosting, I just put some peanut butter on top. And this was so good. That peanut butter powder made the texture of this cake so amazing. And of course, you could throw chocolate chips in there. You could throw like chocolate syrup on the top. There are ways to make this chocolate and peanut buttery. Like, don't come for me because I just did it peanut buttery, like my son, who just felt so betrayed by the fact that there was no chocolate in this. It was so good. Definitely out of all my recipes, this one was my favorite. I made the same thing for my husband when he got home from work because I was like, you got to try this. So good.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed these mug desserts. I was gonna say mug cakes, but I guess a brownie isn't exactly a cake. And for sure, the oatmeal crumble was not a cake or a cookie, really. Nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed them all. Leave me a comment down below. Are you going to try any of these? Do you already make mug cakes at home? I would love to hear everything you have to say. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all the things that help our little corner of the internet grow over here. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!